Good evening, and thanks for joining us for our 2013 primary election coverage. I'm Steve Potter.
And I'm Lauren Watt.
And tonight we're going to bring you up-to-date details of the election as it happens, and we'll also have roundtable discussions with special guests who will be joining us throughout the night. And Lauren, I have known you a long time, but this is the first time I've ever shared an anchor desk with you, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, I've always admired your work, Steve. I know people recognize your face and your voice from KWMU. I'm a very ardent NPR fan, and I listen to you every day, so it's a pleasure to work with you today. We got a big election coming up here today.
Yes, we do. And, I was asking when the last time STL TV has done election coverage like this. It's been about a dozen years.
Yes, it's been exactly 12 years. I believe it was when Slay came in and took Harmon out. I should say won the election.
Watch your words.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's been 12 years, and this is a big election here because this is the biggest mayoral election that we've had in a number of years with a real serious contender. We have two citywide office holders going against each other. Mayor Slay, the incumbent for 12 years, going for an unprecedented fourth term, and Lewis Reed, the president of the Board of Aldermen. So both have proven that they have statewide appeal, and we'll only wait and see the numbers.
And of course, there's a third candidate, Jimmy Matthews, who we'll mention a little bit later as well. Well, the polls just closed minutes ago, so what do you think? Is it going to be a long night?
Well, there was slow voter turnout early, I heard. In 2009, there were about 31,000 votes cast. Mayor Slay got about 19,000 of them. At the time, Irene Smith was his competition. She got about 10,000 votes. So we're looking at a total of 30,000 votes. That was 14% of the electorate. In the general election we just had in November, 70% of the registered voters turned out. So they're looking at about 15% of the voters that will be there.
Well, you're going to be the numbers guy tonight, I can tell that. I heard some experts earlier predicting, we'll see if it's true or not, they predict about a 22% turnout, give or take, today. And you were talking about the polls being slow earlier, and that was because of the weather, of course. We had some snow, which would keep people in. Exactly,
and this is a primary election, so this is where the rubber hits the road. Whoever wins the mayoral contest is going to be the next mayor without a heck of a write-in candidate, which has never happened before.
Right.
And then we're working with the wards in the odd number wards. We have a special election in 6 to replace Casey Starr Triplett, and then there's going to be a hot contested ward run in the 27th ward.
Right. Well, this is the Democratic primary, as you point out, and I guess it bears repeating that there are no Republican challengers. There is a Green Party candidate, James McNeely, who the winner of this primary will face in the general election.
And there are some Green Party candidates and some independent candidates as well. And Steve, I'll tell you one thing I'd like to see in this country is that I'd like to see a real viable third party. I think that would make people be a little more responsive, maybe create some transparency, give us another option, because the Green Party candidates and the independents are almost thrown away. Like Jimmy Matthews is kind of mentioned as an afterthought, and he may well be, but everybody deserves a shot. And if we had a third party, a viable third party, I think it would make the whole country better.
It's never really happened yet.
No.
Right?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the two parties want a third party because you don't need more campaign contributions. You got to split the money up more. But I think it would do well because you see the gridlock that we have in Washington now, and they're not doing much better than.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is if they were cutting their salaries, it would be a little more important. So,
let's talk a little bit about the background of our major candidates. I'll start with Francis Slay, who of course is the incumbent mayor. He served 3 terms as the mayor of St. Louis. He was president of the Board of Aldermen for 6 years. He was an alderman himself for a decade, and he was attorney with the St. Louis law firm for, I guess it was about 20 years.
And then Lewis Reed, he's currently the president of the Board of Aldermen. He was an alderman of the 6th Ward for 8 years. He was the director of networks and telecommunications for Edison Brothers and the manager of data network software for SSM Healthcare. So he has a background in IT. Both of them are, again, I say, citywide elected officials.
Mm-hmm. And I might want to mention Jimmy Matthews, the third candidate, too. And as I understand, he really has raised just about no money, I think, or very little money, let me put it that way.
He's running on a shoestring, and I don't know, Jimmy Matthews is a former alderman, and you have to give everybody respect, but I think he's an also-ran at best. But
the interesting thing with him will be to see if he can, in a close race, he might be able to have some effect, but we'll see about that.
Right.
As you said, he was alderman in the 27th Ward. He's a former school teacher. He worked for the airport in some capacity, and he's currently the Reverend of a Baptist church, Riverview Boulevard Baptist Church. So that's what he's doing now.
Absolutely.
So Tonight, we have Janelle Higgins, who is going to update us on election numbers. That's going to come up a little bit later. Cassandra Walker is stationed at the Reed Watch Party, and Tim Lampley, who joins us now, is at the Sleigh Watch Party at the Dubliner downtown on Washington Avenue. We're going to get to Tim in just a couple of seconds. I guess maybe one more thing about the weather. It started to act up, I noticed, just before the polls closed.
Right, it was storming pretty good. I voted early this morning, and it was, kind of misty and kind of bad, but I noticed there was a number of elderly people coming in my polling place. I live in North St. Louis, so it's one of those things that you can let it keep you in the house if you want to. If you really want to vote, you can get out and vote. And a lot of people probably vote between 11 and 7, and it was pretty clear during that part of the day, but I'm sure it had some effect.
All right, we are now going to the Sleigh Watch Party with Tim.
5, 4, 3, 2. Good evening. As you know, this could be an historic night for Mayor Francis Sleigh. At 57, he is favored to win an unprecedented fourth term in office, putting him in the position to be the longest running mayor ever in the city of St. Louis. Board of Aldermen President Louis Reed and his supporters hope that's not the case. Of course, we will be closer to determining that in a matter of hours. There's no Republican candidate, so the winner tonight will be the favorite going into the general election next month against Green Party candidate James Eldon McNeely. The mayor may have benefited from the endorsement by the city's most powerful black politician, U.S. Representative Lacey Clay, whom we hope to talk to a little bit later in this broadcast, as well as Slay's campaign manager and others as we bring you all the latest from downtown. That's it for now. I'm Tim Lampley. Back to you in the studio.
Well, it's a live election show, so that's how you do it, folks. You count yourself down and you do your piece. You're going to see a lot of that tonight because in a live election show, anything can happen. I was going to tell you one thing I've noticed that in the last few days, my mailbox has been stuffed with memorabilia, I guess, and flyers and flyers and flyers. I've never seen quite so much mail come in the last few days, and some of it got a little ugly, too.
Well, you know what? I get a lot of stuff in the mail, too, and I wonder, Lauren, me personally, this type of campaign material really doesn't change my opinion. I don't know if that's true for everybody.
And I don't know if negative campaigning is as effective as people think it is. I want you to tell me what's right with you, not what's wrong with the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, these watch parties are pretty exciting, don't you think? For the people that have worked for candidates and who believe in candidates, they probably put in a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of mental anguish. And tonight, this early in the election night, anything's possible?
Anything is possible. We'll only know when the numbers come in, and they're talking about a 10 to 15% voter turnout, maybe 20% at the best. We'll see. I just wonder why people come out at 80% in the general election and come out at 15% because the local election, the municipal election, is really what affects you personally directly, not the general election as much. And it just baffles me. I guess it must be voter apathy.
Well, who was it that said politics is local? Or it should be, anyway. Right?
It should be.
Right. Well, now let's see what's happening at the Louis Reed Watch Party at the Carpenters Union Hall. Cassandra?
I'm Cassandra Walker here at the Carpenters District Council on Hampton for mayoral candidate and Board of Aldermen President Louis Reed's Watch Party. Now, Reed is campaigning on a promise for a new era and well-needed change in St. Louis. Says that 3 terms under Mayor Sleigh is enough, and he's willing to derail that Sleigh train of politics. Stick with us tonight as we're going to bring you up-to-date news, information, and interviews. And we'll be covering this race until a decision has been made. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Cassandra. And you can tell the watch parties are kind of quiet this early in the evening.
Oh, yeah, and there's no food there yet either.
I was going to say, people are probably going out to dinner. There are probably other kinds of parties going on, and I guess the parties, the watch parties, don't start picking up till the returns start coming in.
No, that's right, and we're pulling for the winners.
Mm-hmm. We're always pulling for everybody, aren't we?
Oh, yes, we are.
Well, STL TV's Janelle Higgins is at our results set, and she's going to bring us up to date with some results, if she has any now.
But I'll be here all night tracking those. I actually just got off the phone with a member of the Board of Elections, and he told me they're planning on releasing the numbers at any moment now. So as soon as I get any results from this election, of course, I will be bringing those to you all night long. Of course, as you guys touched on, the mayoral race is a very, very hot one that a lot of people are talking about here in St. Louis. And also, there's several wards that have heated races for aldermen. So it should be a fun night, a lot of great things to watch. And of course, keep it here. I'll be keeping you guys posted on all of those results. Back to you guys.